I don't think you prepare to be a judge. I think that it's something that you get in your head that you want to do, and then you pursue it, as I did for several years, and was first nominated back in 1977 for a circuit position, and then following that a county position. Did not get those, and then went through the process of applying years later after I'd been on the nominating commission and had a little bit better idea of what it took to get appointed. The one thing I knew I was not going to do was to run for election, and so I just waited for the appointment process to work out, and fortunately for me it did. I wanted to be a judge for several reasons. I enjoy the law, the whole logic of it, the process of it. The practice of law was great. The part about the practice of law I didn't enjoy was the financial aspect of it. I hated billing clients. I hated having to chase them down for fees. I hated to worry about when the money was going to come in or when it wasn't. I never really wanted to be wealthy, but I wanted a steady income, and I had a good practice and a steady income and enjoyed it. But I just thought that having an opportunity to have a little bit more input into the cases that I saw, rather than just advocating for my client, that it would be more satisfying to me to be able to see the right thing happen, or at least what I thought the right thing should be. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I toyed with teaching history. History's always been very interesting to me, and I think that history holds a lot of lessons. That's one thing I really enjoy about the law, is the fact that it's so much of it is tied to history, and not only of the law but political history and social history, and it's interesting to me to see how that all developed. I was pretty much convinced by my parents that I should go into law. They felt that regardless of whether I ever wanted to practice law, that it would be a good background for business or for anything I wanted to go into, and so that was kind of their idea. I went along with it. Once I got into law school and got caught up in it, I really was pleased that I had, because it was something I enjoyed very much. Well, I don't know how being a judge changed my life, because I don't know what my life would have been if I hadn't been one. And here I've been on the bench since 1986. I'd been a municipal judge in a couple of places, in Pinellas Park and out on the beaches, and I'd been a city attorney also out at Treasure Island. The thing that I guess changed the most, and it does for every judge, is that your life almost becomes a fishbowl. Not as much as some politicians, but you're a public servant, and so you're constantly in a fishbowl. The things you used to do when you weren't a public official, you probably are best not doing while you are one. And so you just had to be a little more circumspect about how you lived your life and how you interacted with the rest of the community. So that was a big change. The most important things, I guess, the lesson that I've learned from being a judge is that things aren't always what they seem. And we tell this to juries and when we're trying a case, that, don't make up your mind, wait till you see all the evidence, wait till you hear all the testimony and hear the arguments of the lawyers. And that's probably good advice for a judge too, that everyone, I think, every human just naturally jumps to conclusions when they see a certain set of facts. We tend to want to pigeonhole things as soon as we see them. It's convenient for us. It's comforting for us to be able to do that. And as a judge, you have to wait and just see everything. You can't prejudge things from what you've seen or what you believe. You have to wait and just get all the information and then make a decision. That's a hard thing to do. I'm not sure that the courts have changed that much. The whole community, the whole society of the law has changed quite a bit since I've been on the bench. Certainly since I started practicing law, they've changed a lot. I tell people that I still can't believe that when I went to law school, in our class of wherever, I don't know how many people were in our class at Stetson, maybe 70 or 80 or so, maybe we had a half a dozen women. All the rest were men. Now law school classes actually are predominantly women, that there's a majority of women in these classes, and we see that reflected here. When I first started practicing law, there were no women judges, there were no black judges. We've gone through huge societal changes in the 45 years or so that I've been practicing law, and since I've been on the bench too. We changed the system whereby judges now have family divisions. Before we just had a straight civil division where you did family cases and civil cases and all of those together. I tend to think that was actually a little better, because I think a steady diet of family cases is not a real healthy thing for someone who's sitting on the bench, but those are decisions beyond my pay grade. I think one of the main things that I've seen that changes in the practice of law occurred, and in the in the litigation, is occurred when the Supreme Court allowed lawyers to advertise. It changed everything, and it continues to. And the ramifications of that decision have just rippled throughout the legal system for years now, and will continue to. There are incidents and stories that pass through the courtrooms every day, and it's hard to remember any of them, let alone all of them. We share them amongst ourselves. They're often humorous. Many times they're informative, but I don't think at this point that I have any particular stories that I would like to impart. If I'm remembered at all, I've made an effort throughout my career not to be remembered. My whole idea was to just stay under the radar, do my job, and just pass along. But if I'm remembered at all, I would like to be remembered as somebody who did their job competently, fairly, who showed up when he needed to, and treated people in the way that they deserve to be treated. As to future plans, I've applied to be certified as a mediator, and I suppose that I'll try doing that. I don't know how that'll work out. We're prohibited from sitting as senior judges for a year after we retire, so we'll see how the mediation goes, and then I'll see what's available in terms of the senior judge status. But I think in terms of other plans, my wife and I just love to travel, and we are hoping that we can continue to do so in my retirement, and maybe have a little more flexibility to be able to do that. I've also gotten a great deal of satisfaction out of reading, out of photography and hobbies like that I'd like to indulge in. There's, I'm sure, many things that home that I need to address that have been put off until my retirement, so those will have to be addressed. But other than that, we don't have any other plans other than just relax and enjoy the freedom from the schedules that retirement allows.